I think the most difficult part most of the time is people has forgotten about love, and people have forgotten how to trust themselves. I think it's easier said than done. We keep saying love ourselves, you trust yourself. Yeah, it sounds so easy, but that's probably one of the hardest thing to do.
Welcome to another episode of the Shape the World podcast, our primary content engine building momentum toward the 2026 Shape the World Summit, which this year will take place in London at the legendary Lambeth Palace. In this series, we are exploring the architecture of the creative change economy and the rollout of the world's first multi-faith economy mark, a framework designed to demonstrate how distinct faith values and faith-aligned assets can reshape global finance to drive true and integral human flourishing. Today, we are joined by a visionary leader who perfectly bridges cutting-edge innovation with legacy enterprise. She's the CEO of the real estate developer Asia Green Group and the founder of Innovatif Plus, May Tan. Hey, what a pleasure to welcome you to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to this conversation because we also recently had the privilege to what was 2 weeks ago to participate together the Centesimus Annus Foundation General Assembly in the Vatican. The absolute pinnacle of the gathering was being received in a private audience by His Holiness Pope Leo XIV. This encounter was incredibly timely, coinciding with the historic launch of his new document, Magnifica Humanitas, which serves us as a clarion call to look beyond secular business models and activate deep faith-rooted solutions. May, how was it in the Vatican? As a non-Catholic, must have been a new experience, right?
Yeah, I think well, first of all, really, thankful for consulates, to give me and my partner, such amazing experience, and also the opportunities to able to attend and also learn so much. I think, yeah, being from a non-Catholic is definitely my first time, and be able to be in, at the St. Peter Church was one of the also the most I would say like unforgettable experience, as I really can feel I think the love and the welcome, and also I think the holiness of the whole place. I cry many times. It's kind of emotional. I guess it's like that kind of experience where you actually felt, people come together regardless of faith, and everyone believe in the same thing, where we all are love, and you can feel the love from God. I think, regardless of any religion. I think that first experience was really, really touched my heart.
Yeah, we will go into more specifics in how do you, implement, love or faith values in your business models. But I wanted to go back a little bit to, your personal experience, your personal roots in finding, your purpose. As in our inaugural episode, for example, Marcello Palazzi shared how his own path toward values-based business was deeply shaped by early family conversations about ethics and pursuing goodness in the economy. He focused on a trilogy of transcendent ideals: goodness, beauty, and truth. You also made a fascinating transition from creative design in the New York City, taking the helm of your family's traditional enterprise, Asia Green Group. How did this major personal pivot shape your understanding of what purpose means in the business world, especially when viewed through the lens of your own faith and spiritual heritage?
I think, yeah, it is. Sometimes I also wondering, why I being led to, taking over the fan business, from a graphic designer. But I think my own purpose has never changed. I think since young and since the beginning, no matter what I do, I always believe one thing is that deep down I want to change the world. That's crazy. And I think when I was in a graphic design and creative industry, I was thinking, okay, what can I do from a creative standpoint, right? And a lot of advertising, and all this thing actually created by human, and how they change a lot of mindset, change a lot of human behavior over the time, and then I realized by creating something, actually I can continue to make the change, and maybe change people, heart, change people mind through creativity, through art. And I think when I first came back, of course, that didn't always go as planned, to wanted to change something in a traditional business and together with my father. So I think that part was misaligned at the very beginning, right? But I always still go back to what is the truth, right? And what is the intention and also the righteousness that we are doing what we do. Is it just about building the houses? Is it just about providing, more property for people? But I think what really my personal understanding of purpose came about few years ago when I went through my depression and start questioning about life. Like, what is this life about if I keep achieving and I keep earning a lot of money, and but how come I don't feel fulfilled? How come there's something deep down in me that I'm missing? So I think over time, when I start questioning, and questioning about life, and to that point, I start to, go through, I guess, a whole series of experiencing, healing, experiencing how to listen to my heart, how to understand who I am really. And then I think from there, learning that, at the end of the day, we all are love. And if you want to create something, I think business has to be meaningful. Business has purpose. It's not just about personal purpose, but I think everything we create, no matter what we do, it has a purpose. So what is the purpose behind? And I think what really is not just about the profit and money itself. Of course, we need the money to sustain, to grow the impact. But I think at the end of the day, if we have no direction, has no clear purpose in what we do, I think that's where people are lost. No matter how wealthy we get to, or a lot of people get to certain wealth, the more worries they get instead of more peace they get. But I think it's about how can you use what you have, how can you use your resources, and what I do, like creating this development and ecosystem, to able to harmonious, coexistence for human, for nature, for tech, and I think go back to love. I think that's where I realize every business I do, I'm creating platform. I'm creating, the chance for more people to be more conscious and to be able to go back to love, to go back to the heart. And I'm creating a hardware, right? But then at the same time, the community is the software that I need to create. It's human. Human's the one that brings the energy and the community into the space. If the space without human is just empty, right? So I think that's where I realize all this while everything I do, it go back to having a very clear purpose in life. Yeah.
Mhm. Amazing. I think through your sharing, you just defined what a next gen leader, for those who are not familiar, they can go back now with the video and see this is the definition, at least for me, of a next gen leader. And building on this definition, what do you think? How can a next gen leader successfully integrate specific active faith values? You are talking about, God, love, and so on, also like stewardship, justice, and covenant into highly traditional family run industries via frameworks like the multi-faith economy mark that we are discussing here.
Yeah, I think first a lot of people thought next gen is just a next generation inheritance of wealth and also the business, but I think we hold so much more. And a lot of time, I personally think that a lot of innovation comes through the next gen, right? But I think as a leader, we ourselves have to learn to be conscious first, I think we are not even conscious, and if we are not there to step forward to claim our purpose, there won't be any changes. And I know that because when I started Innovative Plus, we see a lot of next gen, like myself used to, was very afraid to have our own voice because you're in a traditional business, and sometimes you have to go through with your family members or your parents, and that can be quite drainful to do that. But I think at the end of the day, what we really learn through this lesson is, so can we really own our purpose, and can we dare enough to actually speak out and dare enough to lead, right? But first of all, we have to work with ourselves first, before we can lead the whole company. And I think that's, to me, it has to start with our own, like as a next gen. And I think as a next gen, we in a way we are very blessing. I think God, or the universe has give us so much resources and good education, a lot of exposure. We are really, really lucky. But then how can we use the resources, right? And then a lot of time we are a traditional business where we can expand, and a lot of traditional we are stuck with innovation. We are afraid of innovation. But I think as a next gen, what we can do is innovate. But innovate come from the wisdom from from God, or from when you connect to yourself. So to me, next gens really have to, as a leader, is really start with ourselves, and how can we be more consciousness. And then when we change, I think, including our parents, our family members, eventually will also able to feel it, because we are no longer trying to seeking for approval, but we are come from the right intention. And when you show love, people can feel it. But last time I was fighting for getting validation, from my father, to show that I'm capable, I'm able to do it. You gotta trust me. But that is so much of like more of fighting energy. But when I learned to showing more love, so more empathy, and eventually when I start changing, he changed. And then and somehow I also able to influence my family members, my siblings, and all alongside with me join this belief system, this practice. And then everyone start to be more conscious, self-awareness. And so in our family constitution, our even our family governance and legacy planning, now we are much more aligned than before. So I think in order for us to work on the family legacy, right, it has to start from us, and then the family, and from the family, then we can then go into business, and also our investment, and the wealth planning, and the rest of the things. And that will impact more people. Like when you have business, you impact your employees, the whole company, impact the whole chain, whole ecosystem. And from there, the community, and hopefully to the world. So I didn't aware or realize how much one person can actually spark so much of awareness and consciousness in people, when we start from ourselves.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah. It's so powerful, and yeah, it's true, right? It always starts with one person, and then the chain reaction starts from there. And I wanted also to give some numbers to understand also the reality on the ground, that family businesses generate over 70% of the world's GDP. So your must not be, a side experience. Over the next decade, next gen leaders are inheriting the largest wealth transfer in human history, estimated at over 84 trillion US dollars. What makes this wave unique is that over 80% of these young leaders state, and exactly how you share also, that prioritizing social ethical legacy is non-negotiable for their future strategy. So I would, emphasize that your experience is exactly what we need today. And some of the young leaders might still think or being in this process of yours, on shifting towards a concrete implementation of also of their vision, not only of the family vision. And so I would say now we can also enter more into the specifics. Okay, is good, and there is also a value washing, when we talk about love and about faith and so on. So I would like to understand exactly, entering into the specifics of first of all, Asia Green Group, and then towards the innovation part, which I would say is your footprint, and that would be a next question. But as outlined in our episode's intro, the multi-faith economy mark looks beyond standard environmental green metrics to include deep social governance dimensions rooted in religious and spiritual taxonomies. A core part of this framework involves analyzing how foundational economic assets contributed by faith institutions and private businesses aligned with faith values, like Asia Green, can drive true human flourishing. So let's look more into the specific of these concepts, how they play out on the ground. As a major leader in real estate, how do you see physical developments, the actual buildings and neighborhoods we construct, shifting the economy to reflect faith values like hospitality, dignity, love that you are saying, and true community care over pure extracted profit?
Yeah, I think one part that I always believe that in any multi-faith or anything belief system, at the end of the day, we don't just stop at believing and being, but we also have to doing, right? And I think that's where when we doing, we actually even deepen our belief system. So it's not just stop at being state, but we must do. I think for us, last year we did our transformation into our new vision, and which with the help of counselors, and to identify, knowing how can we move forward with the whole vision now that align with what we believe, which is the truth like justice, right? And I think the righteousness to do what is the truth and being the light, and then justice as our action. So I think what we have been doing in terms of our projects, for example, we believe in 3+X. So the 3 is technology, is our ecological, art and culture, and the X is the conscious wellness community. Right. So all our project now we've incorporate in this elements where technology is gonna be help people a lot on the efficiency. So people actually have more time so that they can actually focus more on their self, and that they can go back to themselves. We are no longer in an industrialized era where everything repeated is needed to be done this way. We have a lot of AI and robotic system that eventually will come, right? And I think human can then be human and do something that's a lot more innovation, creative part, and more on connecting back to ourselves, and more focus on well-being, right? I think the ecology part to me is a system. It's an ecology system where if you look at our nature, it will actually grow by itself. Our nature has its own cycle and system. I think in generally all our system can have a more sustainable way to run by itself. So it doesn't always have to keep if feel like if this is a business, that doesn't mean we always have to look at it as a charity work when we do something socially good, or but everyone thinks if you do something good you cannot take money and things like that. But to us, we need that money as an energy to power the whole impact. Right. So I think for us, when it comes to ecological, and that's where, when it comes to art and culture, to me, art and culture is very important because that's where human comes in, right? That's where human history, stories being told, and also that's where it opens the hearts of human. It's that creativities, and we shouldn't neglect that. I think a lot of people thought art and culture is something in on the side, but if you look at some of the civilization, They focus so much on philosophy and focus so much on art, right, and culture, and that's why we pay so much to go to museum. We pay so much to fly to another country to learn about different art, different culture, right? And then at the end, it's a community, it's the people, and people with the consciousness that's open, that's able to really, learn how to coexist with each other, which is to me is very important. So I think that's something we are implementing in our projects. So one project is called One Haven. So One Haven is our kind of like a model for to able to live 100% self-sustained, self-power, self-fit, a community. So we are testing it out, and this is at the it's about 24 acres, no, 12 acres of land in Bentong, Malaysia. So it's on top of the hill, so where nature, is coexist together, and how can we work on the ecosystem? So farm to table, green energy, and healing center, meditation center, right? So it's also served as a safe place. So hence it's called One Haven. So people can, it's a kind of Noah Ark. So in case there's disaster, when we are lack of electricity, food, that's a potential might happen. Then we can have this place as an example, and we're over there, we're still testing out a lot of new innovation, where we are incorporating new ideas and people and partners that they also are conscious, they are able to willing to do their purpose. So through there, we're creating that kind of platform, is kind of a big scale R&D to looking for new materials, building materials, new technology, new energy, new way of farming, new way of education, and also new way of healing, so and healthcare. So I think that is a small project for us to do the test before we move on to a bigger scale. And the next thing is One Garden. I think One Garden is a heritage building located in Georgetown, Penang. So that one, we are actually currently how to make turn the old to mix with new, and the east and the west, right? At the end of the day, is about collaboration. How can we bring two different culture and do two different new and old to able to flourish in one place? So that One Garden is a place for international dialogues about the new ecological civilization. How can we work as one? So over there will be a forum, events room, training area, training center, to actual retail center. So people that after they train, they also open up their consciousness, and they want to lead, they want to open up their business, and they can always incubate and eventually work on actual projects on site. So it's kind of like institution. So that one is One Garden that we are ongoing now, doing our master planning, and eventually that leads to the township of 24 acres of seafront township in Penang. That will be a lot of new collaboration and new working together, how to create this kind of ecosystem that will involve with education, healthcare, wellness, healing, and also how people can work hand in hand in a different region. And to me, all these are just example. What we want is that in the future, if we can make this example, this model works, and we hope more and more developers, more and more landowners, they can utilize or learn from it, that we can actually create a better coexist, development or places that believe in love, and that we can co-create and coexist together.
Yeah, amazing. Exactly. This is a very good, example of good practices from where all the other real estate developers and so on can learn and also integrate in their vision. However, going back to One Heaven, one curiosity of mine, but I think it would bring a more concrete example on how you design a physical development so that it naturally brings people of different religious backgrounds together and ensures that the neighborhood honors and elevates everyone, not just part, you know, the richer or that have, you know, the bigger villa or so on. So how do you design the physical elements in such a project?
Okay, I think the what we design is that I think first this project as a normal developer would do would have just coming from my idea, and then I get consultant and I get architect to just draw and just do according to my idea. But interestingly, I felt it has to be learned to co-create at the very beginning. So where we actually have people in different faith, as well as as long as their consciousness and the intention is right, and they also can connect themselves and to go and where they can find their new ideas and innovation. So actually the whole design and the planning itself is involving people from different background. So we have one person that the purpose is really on agriculture, and now he also developing a new way of how can we generate the soil, right, the earth, so that the farmers don't have to pay so much and use so much of the chemical, as well as a lot of all this thing is harmful to the soil. So now this thing works. So this when these things work, then we're also helping him to set up his business, and then he can actually able to provide for more farmers that will slowly affect more of the agriculture landscape in Malaysia, and hopefully more and more people can learn more about it. So I think it's not just about how I used to run the property development, that I design everything. And we also have someone that is really have this purpose and this gift on designing, and we are using bamboo as part of the design. And so that person will come in and try out his way of design. We also encouraging, so at the end we're also helping this team of people who use bamboo as one of the building materials to able to do it more in Malaysia, because a lot of time bamboo is only in Indonesia, but no one really use it in Malaysia. So he also starting something like that. So we also someone who is in line with themselves are doing actually he's really good at the herbs and cooking. But all this while he's again very reluctant to follow what he wants to do. And then we give him that platform. We say, if this is something you're called to do, and we will give you, that farm to table place, and that is your calling to try out on here. So I think alongside when we design the whole space is really become a co-creation from different people coming together, as long as intention is right, and they also can really trust themselves to do it. And then we just giving them that space together, so we kind of try arrow together as one, and then to work on this kind of model together. So yeah, it's not like how I used to run. And of course this will take higher risk, and seems you have to work with a lot more people, and also trying a lot of new things versus what I used to do was just my way, and just maybe build more villas. And I think at the end the audience that come in is not just about we are not building the luxury villas, we are giving people back to earth, come down to nature together. So our focus is actually a lot more on families. So we have gonna have a forest school where children, parents actually are able to learn as one. How can learn through nature, and through maybe for forest therapy, the forest school. And then so people actually can experience, not only for like say a different class of people, but I think anyone who have the calling to do their certain thing, and they're welcome to join us as well, to co-create that little project. If we can work on a little project, I believe we can co-create a lot more in a different skill. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So the natural elements, yes, actually are a core pillar in the vision. It's a little bit like the biophilic design. that says that integrating natural light, vegetation, and natural materials into buildings is not only an aesthetical pleasing, but it actually reduces stress hormones by up to 15% and boosts, cognitive function and directly accelerates healing even. This is on the natural side. I already grasp in your sharing a lot of values which are anchored in your faith, and I wanted to dig in more and for you to express concretely more about your faith values, because Asia Green Group has championed eco-friendly developments, and we heard your examples. At the same time, also the multi-faith economy framework pushes us to look at universal faith-aligned values like equity, care, and human dignity as equally vital metrics for institutional investment. And Asia Green Group, we heard already, that is a champion in this. How do you balance then the green aspects of your projects with the deep faith values required to a fully purpose-driven economy?
I think it's that you see, the faith is always go back to the people, right? And I think when I'm building a lot of things is to enhance, right? To enhance the human centric design and everything. And I think to me it's a hardware and a software thing, right? So how now I'm building all this hardware, right? But again, I need to work on the able to create this software and to able allow people that live in and become one, right? A lot of time is it seems separating. It's like hardware I just build based on whatever, and then I put in the people or I sell to people, right? And then people just going there and they don't feel as one of it. They don't part of the hardware. So I think it's really about balancing to having the hardware and also the software. So in terms of software, this is where I also, founded and started a lot of new venture where we are helping a lot of conscious leaders, right, to finding themselves, finding their purpose. And from there, eventually, we're also helping them to, lead with purpose, right? Lead with consciousness. And when they change, their journey will be quite similar to mine, where, then affecting, the family to the business. And even my company, we did few times of the workshop with conscious, and as well as my another company, we collaborate together, that where we actually learn what we believe in. If we believe in all faith is the same, right? We go back to love. So our company, even our team, we have people from different faiths or different background. So at the end, we are just teaching them to learn to love, learn to listen to themselves, and also trust themselves. I think the most difficult part most of the time is people has forgotten about love, and people have forgotten how to trust themselves. I think it's easier said than done. We keep saying love ourselves, you trust yourself. Yeah, it sounds so easy, but that's probably one of the hardest thing to do. And we always have this fighting over your logical mind when it comes to a lot of the decision in life. There's a lot of fear in there, right? But how can you overcome all this thing from emotionally? So I think for starting from my family and then to my team, where I able to introduce consciousness program and meditation retreat, so that they can actually learn to actually trust themselves. And now most of even my team, I told them, don't ask me for any decision now. You can ask yourself. It's just kind of building them their confident levels to learn to go back to love, to learn to trust themselves. So when they themselves can learn to self-driven, found their purpose in life, they realize, and in the workshop we did recently, where everyone learned to meditate and everyone learned to come back to themselves. And now the vision they draw out about the future city, about the future ecological whatever, is exactly the same vision as mine. And I told them this vision is never even mine. It's also yours because you're the one see it, you're the one feel it, and you're the one draw it up. So I say that is you never think this is my game anymore. And we all are equal. We're all working on this as one, regardless your background, regardless your position here. And if you really believe in yourself, and we're all taking one step at a time, right? So I think that really boosts the confidence and really understand and feel the vision instead of the old method where i'm I'm the boss, I'm the leader, and that's my vision, then everyone just follow my vision and they won't 100% feel emotionally attached or emotionally driven and believe right in what they believe in. So I think at the end, I say what we create here is really about the love and kindness system, is that kind of civilization we all hope to see. But there won't be any miracle happen if none of us take that one step forward to build this. So I think eventually they get to understand why they're building it, the intention of doing it, and they themselves drew it themselves. I never, told them what to draw, and they do it themselves, and they themselves feel and really visualize that vision. I think my team now are very much aligned, and even though there are some that are still learning about their purpose, and some are working on it, the purpose, and some faster, some slower, to me it doesn't matter, but as long as the intention and the heart is aligned, right? I think if we can align from, like I say, everything to me is starting from small, one step at a time. So if my people in the team can start working as one, right, regardless of background, and I believe we're going to have more and more, different company, different leaders to lead their team with consciousness. So I think that's where I believe start from me changing my company, and we hopefully also help others to work on the software. And then when we have more communities, more software, and anything that we build is aligned, it become hardware and software is actually together as one. That's why we are one series of everything we do. As go back to just one. Yeah.
Amazing to hear this, even more from a company in Malaysia, where all the four distinct world religions like Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity are present, and you are able to bring together, starting with your team, based on, let's go even deeper, and anchor all our activity on love, and then how we implement it directly. So if I understand well, this is enlightening for me, that in order to bring a purpose-driven economy that also respects faith values, obviously we can do it, and we will do it eventually through our products, services, developments. But first, we have to do that. We have to live that within our team, starting with our person, but then with our company. So what you are truly creating with Asia Green, or created already and developing, it's a faith-friendly workplace, where people bring their whole soul to work, and through this you create an extraordinary foundation of this economy that we are talking about. And they have the initiative, even and also their vision within, obviously, the company's vision. And then if they want to create their own or something else, then they are empowered to do that. This is fascinating, and thank you for sharing this with us. In the beginning, we said also about your, let's say, personal footprint, about innovation. Obviously, Asia Green doesn't lack of innovation, I'm sure of it, but you started creating a new direction, starting from your personal heart, let's say. This is Innovatif Plus. So for our audience listening worldwide, could you introduce the mission behind Innovatif Plus and the specific work you do there?
Yeah, so I started Innovative Plus about 4 years ago, and the idea was to actually combine the resources from family businesses and the next gen leaders to make a better impact. I mean that vision and mission has never changed, right? But I think what I also have found out recently, and then something I'm actually transforming Innovative Plus actually to become a One Plus. Okay, so what happened was the 4 years has been great. We created a lot of communities, but it become such a safe place. It's too safe and too comfortable where a lot of connection came. And yeah, I mean we have a lot of challenges as well as the next gen, but we're all there to share our problems. And after 4 years, I look back, oh, it's still the same thing. No one changed anything, and then we never really talking about the impact work at all, because everyone become, it's really safe community place. But I that's not my whole vision. My vision is really about, can we collectively work together, with our resources and really create an impact to the world. So that 4 years hasn't been really anything, right? But with the support of communities. But I think what I really learned is that, I have to look at a bigger scale now. So that's why we transformed to One Plus. If, like I say, if the next gen leaders, they are not open up, they are not really there to face, yeah, their real challenge, then not there to face their real deep down trauma and all this thing. And if you cannot open up their consciousness, then it's really hard to go to the next step. There's not going to be any impact. There's not going to be any changes in their situation with their maybe family or business, right? So I think we do the harder part. I decided, I don't want to create that kind of membership anymore, but rather we want to provide help, provide guidance to the next gen, where they can guide them for personal journey, to open up the consciousness, to face their fear, to really, be more innovative and creative, with their, to even have a proper conversation with their parents, their family members. A lot of time we tend to avoid. We want to escape because it's just hard conversation. No one want to really have a conflict, but that long term is no longer about love. Is even in family, we saw every most of us is talking about the business and the investment, the wealth, but no one talk about love, even with your own family members. And you cannot be 100% yourself, your authentic self, with your family. But that's why you will go outside and look for friends and then people that you can be yourself with, right? So I think that's something that we have changed. This Innovative Plus to One Plus is a guidance, to assist a lot of business owner and next gens to become conscious leaders. And then we will, work with them in terms of from their family and also their business, how they can become the conscious leader, and then, affecting hopefully their family members, as well as their business and their team can change, including the legacy planning, the family governance, and succession planning. A lot of time, this is where we have a lot of structure, and people, plan a lot of structure, plan a lot of family governance, plan a constitution, but at the end, why still fail? Why still family members hating each other, legal cases with each other? A lot of time is just that, we haven't gone back to love. We haven't talking about the hard conversation. We haven't really have the heart to heart talk. We never really, be conscious and to able to have empathy. So I think it's really, this is one of the tougher things to do, I know, and hence no one is doing it. And I just gotta, calling and feeling that it's something I need to do. And I think throughout my own experience and with my family and with my business, and I hopefully as an example that it truly can work. So that's something is my new tech, new transformation, a new calling, new mission to do. My next journey is to help more families and even businesses to become the conscious leader themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing, and I want to hear more, even more concrete examples on how you concretely do it. Um, I wanted to say and bring in the conversation also some studies, even Harvard Business Review and McKinsey their studies show consistently that cognitively diverse and highly inclusive teams solve complex problems up to 3 times faster, than homogeneous teams. And this is only taking in consideration, in the knowledge and, let's say, intelligence. How much more, I would say, where exactly how you do with the Innovatif Plus, you bring in, faith values, you bring in spirituality, and this kind of direction, identity. So can you give us more concrete examples on how you fuel the creative boundary pushing innovation in this platform, faith value through spirituality?
I think first we also need to work on, first what we are doing is to help the next gen to find their own belief system, right? Finding their purpose in life, right? And what is really, their fate is, regardless, a lot of next gen they maybe have lose faith, or they don't really truly surrender, right, to what they believe in, or they don't even have a belief system. I think we need to figure that part out, and then to help them, to really understand and work on learning, again, learning to trusting themselves, learning to trust on wherever their fate is. And I think that's very important. I think having that to work on as a personal level and from the next gen leaders. And then when they learn about that process, and we actually have a retreat where we, us working with them together to open up their heart, to really look into their trauma, their problems. And again, we are teaching people the skill to fish. We're not here to give them the answer. We want them to find their own answer. But I think more importantly, it can debate, to go back to who they are. Can they, take back the courage? At the end, it's all this. I think a lot of people say finding themselves, but I don't think it's finding. It's always been there. It's just we just forgotten, right? It's more of remembering who you truly are again, without the expectation of others, without the responsibility or pressure of being in a family business, or being in such family name. I think it's more of who you are without all these things, without your title, without your family names. Who are you actually? What you really want to do, right? And what impact you hope to create. I think to us, that's the very, very first step, to let them remember who they are, remember love, and feel love again. I think a lot of us, as a next gen, we have a lot of expectation, and we have a lot of our own responsibility that we put on ourselves. And a lot of time we have forgotten what is really love, because all we need to do was just achieving and to prove ourselves a lot. But we have forgotten what is the love for ourselves, right? I think that is something we want to help people to remember that part. Okay, that's come to software part, right? But when we able to do that, and then the next thing is, okay, then in terms of more logical part, where we can actualize your learning to your work and your family. We're creating family retreat for the family, so people can learn and we have to cultivate, and we have to also guiding them on how family and family can have a conversation. a lot of time people don't talk truthfully, right? And just to keep the harmonious, but it's not the true harmonious. Sometimes we are trying to avoid a lot of conflict, but I think avoiding conflict is not really solving any problem, and it's never know how exactly. And to be honest, even me, I with my sibling for so long, I never even know them. I thought I knew, but because of through the retreat, I realized I never even know my siblings.
Mm.
And it's so funny. And but then because of that, I realized we never really talk the hard thing. We don't have hard conversation. I think that is something we are trying to create and open up people's heart and really get to know each other. Because a lot of time business or family offices are actually run by our own family members, shareholders. But if our family are not even aligned, it's
Mm.
gonna be hard to you want to change the business, right? And a lot of time, which I also personal, experience that when I'm like, oh, that's my purpose. That's what I want to do. But then I realize all my siblings are not really agree with that.
Correct.
And that's where I need to go back and work with my family and to really have the conversation to really understand and all of us did the same meditation, then we can come back to ourselves and say, yeah, if really all have the same intention doing out of love, then how can we co-create? Same thing with one garden is actually creating with six of us, six siblings together, and at the very beginning none of them agreed
Mm.
with the vision, and they thought I'm crazy, right? So and then I have to like, okay, in this case, so I bring my one of my consultant together with did a meditation to bring people back to themselves, back to love, and then only understand, you know what, we all learn to accept and agree each other, where I'm a visionary, so they understand and follow me. But then I have one of my sister. She is in the finance, and she is that's her role. And
Mm.
so when she in that role in coming up with finance structure, everything, we gotta respect her, allow her to do her part. So we all understand each of our role. That's where we can align better, and then everything, even though we speak in a different language, because we all are very different. But at the end, the summary of it, we all believe in love, and they want to believe in harmonious coexisting and co-creating. Start from six of us. If
Mm.
six siblings can't even work together, we don't talk about the world. We can't even talk about the world. So I think from our experience, when the family are much more aligned, the values align, and then only we can really start to move a lot of things, right? Then we come to the projects, we come to the companies that eventually our team members can align. But you gotta start from the shareholders, you gotta start from the family members. And I think that's where through our workshop, our experiences, we can actually help them to craft their own legacy plan, their own values, creation. And I think together working with counselors. So I think that's how we can actually work on, the spiritual level, the connection, the wisdom that we get, and then the software, and then to execution, right? The execution part, where I think counselors is also very good at it. That's why we've been working with counselors on we know what we want to do. Our values is there, our connection is there, but then how can we actualizing it? So I think that's a good combination. Yeah.
Mm. Amazing. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. I see here a very, integral, holistic conception of, on one side, of the person and of the communities, but then that goes and brings concrete elements towards a new economy, shifting rules towards the person and towards community, rather than, profit and resources and the technical, only technical part. So thank you for this and for what you are doing. We are going now to the conclusion of the episode, and I want to bringing exactly this, the general aspect of economy, and wanting to understand, your vision in this, because together Asia Green Group explicitly focuses on pioneering on smart, on one side, smart ecological civilization, bringing in exactly faith values, using even the Xisheng, framework. I don't know if I pronounce it well, to seamlessly balance life, production, ecology, and community. At the same time, you share with us about Innovatif Plus, how you are able to empower and reignite, let's say, next gen leaders. Looking at the intersection of our respective paths, how do the metrics of multi-faith economy, Mark, on one side, align with your vision of building a global, ecological, love civilization rooted in faith-based earth stewardship?
I think it always been a alignment, I think, between like the whole multi-faith economy. I think, again, I think economy to me is start from people, and I think, and also multi-faith to me, in everything work as one. That's why we believe in oneness of everything. Right. I think regardless of faith, I think to me, like we say already, we all go back to the same thing. Even understanding from Pope Leo about, also about love, civilization, and exactly what we hope to achieve is creating the whole ecosystem. I think economy is also part of the whole ecosystem, right? For the civilization, right? To what's the new economy, right? And I think from the multi faith, where everyone, as long as we're open, and as long as we're conscious and we are believe in love, I think any parts of our development, we can always work with different parties, and I think intention is very important, right? I think everyone coming together and believe in the love system that is not just looking for the profit, right? But I think, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with profit too, nothing wrong with money. But at the end of the day, how can we, right, working on, to me, money to me is energy. How can we get an energy in, right, and then energy out? But energy cannot be stuck. If energy is stuck in one place, it doesn't function, right? But energy gotta always flow, right? And generating, right, the system. So I think we are working as the system as a whole, and how can we create an ecosystem? And I think economy will power a lot with this kind of energy, right? I mean, when talk to money, investment, and all these other things. But how can we actually create a whole ecosystem where it can power itself, at the same time power other people, right? So I think with a different multi-faith, right, at the end, to me, is, as like I say, is oneness. So to me, it even doesn't even matters what faith you believe in, but it's always about you. Do you go back to consciousness? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in love? And do you want to work together? I think that's why one of our township, the sea, the one next to the sea township, 24 acres, is actually open, because we believe it. As long as you believe in the same thing, then let's work on this, co-create this thing together. I think the future of the civilization, the love civilization, is co-creation. And to be honest, if you ask me how it's gonna look like, or how it's gonna be end up with, and how it's gonna be, I have no idea. I just believe and trust, right? I think that's where every faith is about. Can you truly believe? Can you surrender? Can you trust in the process, right? Trusting you, trusting others, trusting your faith, or trusting your God. At the end, it's still the trust is the most important thing. If not, we cannot partner, right? If you can't even trust each other, we cannot do this whole civilization or even the township without trust either. So, and trusting, the most important thing, trusting love, you know. So I think it comes from at the very beginning, do you trust? And then the rest of the thing is work in progress. You know, I really don't know how it's going to be, to be honest. But I believe in one step at a time. I believe in, yeah, I have a vision. We all have a vision. We know where we're going. But it's really about, can you take that first step? And then can you take one step at a time to grow one by one? I think, and in that journey, they'll be tested a lot. Trust too. They'll be tested with, you know, are you surrendering with yourself? Are you surrendering, you know, with your faith? Yeah. So even you have faith, then you will learn along the way too. I think that's the beauty of the whole game, I think.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So if I try to summarize your vision of a new economy, I would say these three words, you know: co-creation. The fact that we are not able to build the system alone. So we need the vision, also the abilities of each others, and there the second would be oneness. You know, the unity. Absolutely, each one of us has his own vision, has his own ability, has his own practice, but we have to listen to each other in order to then be able to co-create. And then trust, you know, the third element, where exactly without trust, how you say it, like, where we cannot even create a collaboration. So May, thank you so much for joining us and illustrating how an ecological civilization, love civilization, can move from a high-level vision into a practical, on-the-ground reality. Your purpose-driven leadership at Asia Green Group and Innovatif Plus is a brilliant living example of a radical commitment to listening, dialogue, trusting, we said just before, and transforming our economic structures to protect human dignity through active faith values. To our listeners worldwide, thank you for tuning in this episode of the Shape the World podcast. To discover more about the multi-faith economy framework, please visit our official summit webpage. Until next time, keep your faith values at the core of your strategy, and love how May told us today. And let's keep shaping the world together. Goodbye for now.